What's up, everybody? Duster McDangles here with another video, just checking to make sure everything is set up properly with the stream. So give me just one moment as I get things set up. We are starting a bit early right now, but that's okay. Want to make sure that you guys are all squared away and good to go, as it does look like we are all squared away and good to go. Just going to get this plugged in, get this puppy underway. And what's up, guys? Duster McDangles here with a live video. Welcome back to the Puck Drop. We are here with our second episode, just making sure that everything looks good here with... Get this out of the way really quickly. Alright, that's as far out of the way as we are going to need that. But again, welcome to episode 2 of the Puck Drop. Here we are going to be talking about a bunch of things in the episode today. We're going to be going over preseason hockey, as well as on the screen you guys can also see a bunch of players in the top right hand corner, and you see some lines and numbers down below as we've got some good bets for this upcoming season. Didn't want to give anything out for week 1 for the NHL, so we'll give up my preseason prediction picks for things that I think would be a sure lock if you guys are into the whole betting scene. But if you guys are new to the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any future action, as well as you guys are doing a great job helping the channel grow, so I can't thank you enough for the love and support you guys have all been showing. So that is that. But we are going to start off. This won't be a separate video, just more of a thing to share with you guys that Chris Snow, unfortunately, has passed away from ALS at the age of 42. Such a terrible disease, a terrible thing that anyone would ever have to go through. And unfortunately, he did. Assistant general manager for the Flames, Mr. Chris Snow, he passed away with his battle in ALS. So thoughts and prayers go out to his family. I know we're kind of starting this off on a downward note, but wanted to get that not necessarily out of the way, but acknowledge that. And a lot of people do go through it. It is extremely tough, and we wish him and we wish his family nothing but the best, and our deepest condolences go out to the family of Mr. Chris Snow, assistant general manager, as well as the players. The organization, I'm sure everyone has been affected by this loss. Nothing but good things have ever come out about him. Outstanding person. I know he was doing a great job with the Flames as well, and it's unfortunate to see somebody's life cut short so soon, especially with this terrible disease. But thoughts and prayers go out to the family, and just wanted to get that under wraps, because I think it is important to acknowledge life, good or bad, when it comes to life and death. So I'm sure there'll be a celebration of his life. But yeah, condolences out to the family, and we will go ahead and move on, talk about some more upbeat, happier things. And what we're actually going to talk about is a little bit of the preseason. There have been a lot of good things going on this preseason, a lot of surprises. You've got a Michigan by Kent Johnson. You've got some crazy stuff happening in Chicago. Not necessarily a sellout for Connor Bedard's first ever home game at the United Center, but pretty darn close, and a decent performance, 2 assists in that game for him. A lot of teams are looking good. We've got some injuries that we will get into here in just a moment. We've got a bunch of players signed to PTOs, as you guys can see on the screen here, that have happened earlier in this preseason before camps got underway. But overall, going to be a very intriguing preseason as we get ready for the regular season that is roughly about a week and a half away, I want to say. So that is extremely exciting. Cannot wait for the regular season to finally be here and back again. But we'll go ahead and actually talk about, let me pull it over here. Let me also make a little cut here for editing purposes. So when it comes to the NHL preseason, a lot of teams are actually getting underway. And with hockey and with any contact sport, there are going to be injuries. And a lot of teams are being hit by that bug of the injuries. And one of the biggest ones, and I'm actually going to try to search it, and I think it's really going to affect their team if they also want to give us the info. Here it is. Update on Andrei Vasilevsky. He is out for the foreseeable future with an injury. It's not saying it there, and I'm wondering if Puckpedia will have anything about it. Let me filter through to the Tampa Bay Lightning, and they lost their goaltender Andrei Vasilevsky, had back surgery. They're stating here 8 to 10 weeks he will be missing for the Tampa Bay Lightning, which I think is an absolute huge blow for them. Obviously, they're going to need a big step up when it comes to the goaltending situation, and we'll take a look at their team and what they've got right now. Between the pipes, they've got Jonas Johansson between the pipes. I don't even know who their third string goaltender actually would be, to be quite honest. But yes, they still have their forward lines. They're still very deep up top. Kucherov, Point, Stamkos, Cirelli, Paul, Jeannot, Hagel. Again, you're pretty stacked up top. But without Vasilevsky, 8 to 10 weeks, does that also include his rehab process? Who knows? I'm going to assume that it does. But that is just an absolute massive blow, not only for the Tampa Bay Lightning, but for our predictions. We had the Lightning finishing second in the Atlantic Division, so that's going to be a huge blow. They'll have to play a little catch-up early in the season if they're not able to get the goaltending and the defense that they are looking for. Nothing else really crazy for the Tampa Bay Lightning when it comes to injuries. I know Fabry was out. Won't keep him out long. Upper body injury as we go throughout here. Nothing else too big so far, although Alex Killorn, he did break his finger, which is a bummer, so he is expected to miss 4 to 6 weeks. So a veteran-type presence in the locker room for those young guys in the Anaheim Ducks, who they still haven't signed Zegras. They still haven't signed Drysdale. I know Drysdale's actually practicing with my wife's brother's college hockey team up in Canada right now, downtown Toronto. But it's crazy that they lose a very solid hockey player there in Killorn. He will definitely be missed, but when he comes back, they will definitely welcome him with open arms. I know Connor Timmins, he will be undergoing an MRI for a back injury. Hopefully things go well for him. I know he's looked pretty solid this preseason overall. As we continue to go down here for injuries, day-to-day, Nate Schmidt, Appleton also day-to-day as well. Expected return is in a few days, so nothing too crazy there. Zach Whitecloud expected to come back in the 10th, so maybe a little bit bigger of a knock there. I know Gramble, depth forward for the Toronto Maple Leafs, is going to be out for a little bit longer. He suffered a concussion, so he is going to be out for a little bit, probably going to miss maybe the first 2, 3 maybe games of the regular season. Maybe just the first is my guess, because we still have a week of preseason, and then we get actual hockey underway. Apologies for that. Joel Edmondson had a hand injury, had surgery on his hand. He's going to be out 4 to 6 weeks, so he'll miss the start of the regular season. As we are keep going down the lineup, Verhaeghe's going to be out for a little bit. Palmieri's going to be out for a little bit. Again, day to day, so nothing too crazy there. Will Butcher is going to be out indefinitely, maybe until the start of the regular season. So again, nobody massively out. That is super duper big. Let me pull over this NHL injury status and we can take a look at it here on this page as well. Again, for the Ducks, Drysdale, Zegras. Jack Quinn still out making recoveries for the Buffalo Sabres, most likely still going to miss the start of the regular season. Cale Makar day-to-day. Francois, I know that was a big one that I didn't see on that other list that I noticed that he's been placed on the injured reserve list, so he is definitely going to miss the start of the season and a little bit. So that's a big hit for the tandem that the Colorado Avalanche have. We'll have to keep a close eye on that as the season continues. Going here throughout, Roope Hintz has been listed on the injury list, injury status. I don't expect it to be too crazy for him. And then going out throughout this, again, no one really popping off. I know Josh Norris, he's listed as out right now, but I'm sure he'll be ready for the regular season. Jake Gensel has been participating in practice with a non-contact jersey for the Pittsburgh Penguins. They're expecting him to maybe miss the first couple of games of the regular season, which is better than what they had expected initially whenever he first had the ankle surgery and injury and all that stuff. So good on for him. That's exciting news there. Torrey Krug did have a foot injury. He did participate in practice according to this ESPN page. So good on for him. He'll probably be good to go for the regular season. You can look at that Toronto Maple Leafs list. Is that going to be indicative of what their season is going to be with a bunch of guys on that list? So far, that's probably the biggest list for any team that we have seen so far on this page. Mikheyev still technically on the injured reserve list. Back for Tuesday's practice after leaving the team for personal reasons, so hopefully he will be back. Winnipeg Jets list is a little bit longer, but most of them are day-to-day with probably just a couple of knocks getting back into the swing of things. But that is the injury status update report. Again, a few things we need to keep in mind as the season gets going. I'd say the two biggest ones, Tampa Bay, and they're both goaltending, Tampa Bay and the Colorado Avalanche, who are potential cup contenders. They're one, Tampa starting goaltender Vasilevsky out. We'll have to keep an eye out on that, 8 to 10 weeks. And then the Colorado Avalanche with Francois, which they are saying that he is going to be out for a little bit on the injured reserve. So we'll have to wait and see how long that will be. But that is the breakdown on the injury status getting ready for the regular season. We'll take a look at this list in a little bit shorter of a breakdown next video, as we will be essentially a few days before the regular season starts at that point. But let me know what you guys think down below in the comments about the injuries. How big of a difference will it make for these teams moving forward? Is it huge for the Tampa Bay Lightning? Let me know what you guys think down below in the comments below in this video. But moving on, going to take a quick peek, make sure that we are in a good spot when it comes to comments. No one commented at this point, so we are still good to go there. So we will chug along. We've got the injury report out of the way. And then next up on my list, I've gotten it on the screen right here, is my sort of preseason 4 odds. When it comes to, I was looking over the market, and I look on FanDuel is where I typically will place any bets if I ever do, and take a look at odds. Let me also break this up so I can have a segment about this one. So we'll cut it right here for myself. But looking at the screen right now, guys, you do see the odds there for a few different things. And I was looking over the markets. FanDuel is typically the place I will place any bets if and when I do. And this season, we will definitely sprinkle some stuff here and there. But these are my preseason odds for season predictions. And we're looking for value. We're looking for good odds on things that I really do think have a good chance at happening. And we're going to bring up the stats and take a look at this, as I want to pull up a player. Let me see if I can just get stats, skaters, Barbashev as, let me see here, see if I can just get stats for Barb. There he is, Barbashev right here. He's the first guy we are going to take a look at. Even Barbashev career stats, that's what we're looking at, because you guys can see there 20 plus goals. This is for Ivan Barbashev, sorry, apologize for the pronunciation. Ivan Barbashev to have 20 plus goals this season alone is plus 265. I think that's pretty decent value, whether you put 25, 55, $75, $100 down on that. I think it's very good value for a season prediction. Now, looking at what he's done in the past, I know with the Blues, he had the 1 year he got 60. And again, we're 60 points. He had 26 goals, and that was probably his biggest year he's ever had. Last year alone, he had 16 goals, but he was split between the Blues and Golden Knights. And, I mean, that's only 4 shy of 20 goals. He was so good in the playoffs last year. He looked great for the Golden Knights. He had 7 goals alone in 22 games played in the playoffs for the Vegas Golden Knights. That is going to hit 100%, I think, in my mind. Again, it is odds. Bet at your own risk. I'm not saying that it is an absolute lock, but for myself, in my opinion, Ivan Barbashev, having a hard time with that name. It's a little bit of a pronunciation soup for me right now. 20 plus goals at plus 265. That's a lock for me. I'm going to take that 100% of the time. And that should be a nice little chunk of change by the time the season is over, so we can take that into the playoffs with being able to bet on games and lines and things like that. For Ivan Barbashev, 20-plus goals. I think it's going to happen as long as he doesn't get injured and he plays solid minutes. He'll at least get 20 a night. Look out for Barbashev to 100% get 20-plus goals. Next up, we've actually got team prediction, and it is the Edmonton Oilers winning the Stanley Cup. They are currently at plus 1,100. They were a top team last year, 100%. They were a top team last year. They were 6th in the league last year. They got knocked out in the playoffs after kind of a very solid regular season, one of the best power plays to ever play in the entire NHL. And at plus 1,100, I'm not going to sprinkle a big bet on them, but again, they've got McDavid, they've got Draisaitl, they've got a lot of guys healthy. Darnell Nurse will be healthy this year. The tandem's got another year under their belt with Skinner and Campbell. Bouchard's going to take an elevated role this year for the Edmonton Oilers on that power play and being their top offensive defenseman on their team. So he's going to get at least 50-plus points in my mind. Evander Kane coming back fully healthy. I know he had that scare with getting his wrist cut with the skate blade last year, so he'll be fully healthy. So the sky's the limit. Their depth is a little bit better, but sky's the limit. Ekholm will be there. And I keep saying it, sky's the limit for this team. And if they end up winning the Cup and I put, let's say, $50 down on it, that'll be a nice chunk of change to take into next season if it does happen. This one's probably the biggest long shot out of all of these, but it is definitely one that I'm willing to put either 25 or 50 bucks on to see if we can get lucky in that regard. Moving on to the next one, we are back on another player's stats, and that is Matty Beniers, 30-plus goals at plus 200. I feel pretty good about this one considering the stats that he put up last year. Let's pull him up specifically. Look at career stats. So, obviously, 21-22, he came in, only played 10 games, came in from Michigan, still baby-faced. He put up 9 points in 10 games. It's like, okay, well, this guy might be pretty decent. Last year, and he was Rookie of the Year, Calder Trophy recipient, he put up 57 points total. Now, one thing to note is, in 80 games played, he put up 24 goals. This is one of those lines where it's 30-plus goals, 30 or more. So if he hits 30, we win the bet. 30 goals, I think, is definitely doable for him, especially if he's going to take that next step. If this year is that stepping stone year, I think he's going to get 30 goals. I think he'll be up around that 65 to 70-point range. He's going to be that emerging potential all-star. I'm not going to say superstar yet, but I will say emerging all-star for Kraken to be their face of the franchise. Again, I don't want to put all that pressure on him this early in his career, but he has the potential. So that's why I feel good about plus 200, maybe sprinkle about 25, 50 bucks on that as a potential to get us some cash to go into playoffs with and have fun betting with that. I would feel very strongly about him getting 30 goals, and I hope you guys do too. And then the next one is more, it might even be a bigger long shot than the Edmonton Oilers winning the Stanley Cup, and that is Lafreniere putting up Helps if I spell his name right. 50 plus points at plus 340. This one is probably crazier to think than the Edmonton Oilers winning the Stanley Cup. First overall pick a couple of years ago, and so far this guy really hasn't lived up to the hype. You can see his career stats right there on the screen, and came into the league 56 games. It was the shortened season, only put up 21 points. First full year, 21-22, 79 games played, 31 points. Last year, I think he played mainly third-line minutes, so he wasn't playing a lot. Total ice time per game, 15 minutes. So it did go up a little bit. The previous 2 years were around 13, almost 14 that second year. Got a little bit more ice time. This past year, 39 points in 81 games played. That's really toting the line, and it's like, okay, he's either going to have a breakthrough year or he's just going to fizzle out. And for his sake and for his career and for his reputation, legacy, whatever you want to call it, I hope for his sake he has a big year, because I know he just signed that bridge deal, 2 years, and I forget the official money line. It's like $2 million or something around that. And don't quote me on that. It's pretty close to that. I know it's a 2-year bridge deal. And if he wants to get a big deal after that, whether it's with the Rangers or another team in free agency after these 2 years, this year and next year, he needs to have at least 50 or more points each year to earn himself like a $4.2 to $5.1 million contract for like 4 or 5 years with whomever it is going to be with. So 39 points last year, 81 games played. Is he going to play second line minutes this year? Maybe. It depends on how well he actually does. Most likely he'll play third line minutes. It'll be around 15 minutes a game. Will he get 50 points? I think it's a long shot, but if he does, at plus 340, I think that's a really, really good line to put $25-50 on. That if he does hit that, again, you've got some dough right there to take into the playoffs and try to make some more money, or maybe save it for next season, do a futures on that. Maybe they'll have him plus 60 points at like 450 next year or something like that if he gets 50 points this year. Who knows what it's going to look like. But I think Lafreniere and the Oilers are kind of the more longer shot bets, whereas Barbashev and Beniers, I think those are absolute locks for me. So if we can go 2 for 2 on the year, maybe even squeak out a 3 for 1 on the year for my preseason bets, at least with you guys, I think that would be awesome. So if any of you guys want to take these bets, be sure to do so. I want to see how it goes. Even if you put $5 on it and then you get something for the playoffs, that would be awesome. But again, bet at your own will. Don't take these with a grain of salt, I should say. It's my opinion after watching these guys and watching hockey and understanding, like, okay, this is what we can expect from these guys. Again, expecting and them doing are two different things, but again, bet at your own peril. So we'll maybe call this segment something else later down in the future, but what do you guys think down below in the comments? Do you think we can go 2 for 2 here, or maybe even 3 for 1? I know the Oilers one is probably the biggest long shot, and I don't think they'll do it, but at those odds, plus 1,100 with the team that they have, superstars, I think it's a good chance at it. But let me know what you guys think down below in the comments, or are there any other bets that we should put in for preseason bets for like a season long, whether it's goals, points, shutouts, teams winning the divisions, making the conference finals. I want to hear from you guys down below on that for this video. But now, moving on to our next one. That was a fun segment to do. We're only 25 minutes into the show, so we definitely have some time here to continue, not necessarily killing, but to get some more info from you guys. But we'll go ahead and we'll talk about, we've got some players over here on the right-hand side of the screen, and you're probably like, well, what are those players doing over there? Like, okay, Connor Bedard. Fantilli, for some reason, doesn't have a picture, which I find that to be interesting. Bouchard, Barbashev, we've already talked about him at great length so far in this video. Carlson, Huberdeau, like, what are those guys doing there? And so this is where the next cut is going to be, so be prepared for that, because I got to make sure we get these clips out to you guys. And now taking a look at the right-hand side of the screen here, you guys have probably been watching the live stream, and thank you guys so much for that. What are those players doing over there, Duster? Like, what's Bedard, Fantilli without his picture doing over there? Carlson, Huberto, what are you going to talk about them for? These are some breakout players that I think are going to have pretty interesting years, good or bad. And I think that we should highlight these guys to kind of put on your whiteboard, put on your pinup sheet, put on your notes for potential even bets this upcoming season as watch list players. And we'll call this the watch list. This will be edition 1 of the watch list. And these are the 6 players we will watch for. And honestly, what we can do is we can make this kind of a monthly thing of a watch list. But this is a preseason watch list, and we'll have another one next week of players that I'm really keen in on and intrigued to see what they can do. Obviously, Connor Bedard is at the top of the list. We all know what he has done. Helps if I spell his name right. Bedard. Just doing the first couple initials. I don't know why he's not popping up. Probably because he doesn't technically have any stats in the NHL. But we'll pull him up here. Connor Bedard. Helps if I spell his name right. So here he is. Connor Bedard had a very good game in his preseason debut at home. Let's see if we can maybe pull up Connor Bedard's stats. Is it going to pull it up here? Oh, wow. They have career stats. So that's pretty cool here. So just taking a look at just his Regina Pats stats. So his year 1, 28 points, 15 games played, double exceptional status. That's kind of insane. Regina Pats year 2, 62 games played, 100 points. That's absolutely insane. Also, one thing to note, he was +0. +0, so he was playing on a pretty poor defensive team, which will probably be the case this year with the Chicago Blackhawks. And his final year, Regina Pats, 57 games played, 143 points, +39. So a little bit better. I know they made the playoffs and they were knocked out, and it overall was a much better team. But what am I expecting from Connor Bedard this year? I don't have any future bets or anything on him at the moment. Let's pull up Cap Friendly and take a look at the team that he is working with. And it's going to be really interesting to see what they do with the lineup that they have. Now, again, I know they brought in Taylor Hall. They brought in Foligno. They brought in Perry. They brought in a lot of guys. Blackwell, they've got in there. Radishy, they've got in there. On the back end, I don't think they necessarily brought in anyone that I can remember. Mrazek, Soderblom, they've got their goalies. They're not very deep whatsoever. But what can Connor Bedard do with this team? What is the limit to his potential? Is it going to be worth watching Chicago Blackhawk games? And I'll answer that really quickly and say 100% yes. You're going to want to tune in. This is a once-in-a-lifetime type player, just like Connor McDavid. I almost said Bedard, but just like Connor McDavid, Connor Bedard is that next face of the league. He is that next superstar. Yes, he is a little bit smaller. His play style is a little different. He's got a crazy good toe pull shot. His hands are unreal. Vision is great. I'm sure you guys saw the stats or saw the highlights the other night in that game at home at the United Center. Had 2 assists in that game, and he's like, I didn't have a good game. Hope to bounce back. Dude knows how to talk to the media. Overall, yes, I'm intrigued to see what he can do with points this upcoming season. Will he have 60? I think 60 is kind of like the threshold of a super elite rookie in his first full year in the league. Will he have over 60 points? I think the answer is yes. If he can stay healthy, I think the answer is yes, regardless of the team that you see on this page that he has to play with. Now, it's not knocking them that they're just going to be absolutely terrible. They suck. The Blackhawks, get rid of them. No. Well, yes, they're a glorified bottom of the table NHL team. But they have one of the most exciting players in the league, and that's why I've got him on my preseason watch list as a must-watch player. Anytime the Blackhawks are on, if you get NHL Network, if you get ESPN Plus with their games, turn on the game. I don't care what time it is. Watch Connor Bedard. If you can even see him in person, I think that would be pretty sick too. So any chance you get to watch Bedard, be sure to do so, because this guy on a nightly basis could produce some magic. Again, if he can stay healthy, learn from those veterans such as Hall, Anthony Ciu, Foligno, Perry. If you can learn from those guys, and have a good year doing it. I think sky's the limit for him in the future of the Blackhawks, just not this year. I think they need another pretty down year, get another high draft pick, and build through the draft. But it will be super fun to watch Bedard. And on that note, second player on the list, as you guys can see, is Adam Fantilli. Now, again, another exciting player, was taken third in the draft. Because I know what's-his-face was taken, Leo Carlson was taken by the Ducks, number 2. Or am I getting them confused? I think he was taken number 2. But Fantilli is another exciting player. That's Chicago Blackhawks roster. I don't want the Blackhawks roster. I want Adam Fantilli. Let's see what his stats are and if they'll show it for the University of Michigan. He only did play the 1 year, won the Hobie Baker, true freshman, all that good stuff. 36 games played, 65 points. Absolutely crazy stuff. Yes, the University of Michigan was an absolutely stacked university team. They didn't even win the Frozen Four, which is another crazy stat line. But he is definitely legit. They are saying he clocks in at 6'2", 195. Dude has speed. He's got the skill. He's got the shot. He's got that gritty type play to him. He's not afraid to get dirty in the corners and in front of the net and go to those dirty areas. It's just a matter of fact of can he do that and hold up in the NHL and the style of play and the big bruising bodies that he's going to be going against in the NHL. Again, that line of 60, will he be above or below that? I think he'll be below that a little bit given the team that he is playing on. Now, maybe he gets first line minutes and he gets above 60 points. Maybe he gets hurt, is out for 15 to 20 games and doesn't get 50 points. Who knows? Sky's the limit, but he could be playing with Gaudreau, Laine, Roslovic, Jenner, Corrali, Texier, and Kent Johnson, Marchenko. There's a lot of good players on this Columbus team, and they're going to be fun to watch. They're definitely not going to be an easy out this year. So it'd be interesting to see who he actually plays with and if they can garner that and develop that chemistry. I have him on the watch list for that reason or another. Exciting rookie prospect that is going to make the team. And I really do hope he plays with Kent Johnson, get the Michigan boys playing together. Not necessarily from Michigan, but Michigan University playing together. That would be super, super fun to watch and see them play together. Next player on the list, I know we talked about him briefly in passing as we talked about the Stanley Cup line pick there, and that is Evan Bouchard. Plays on an absolutely stacked NHL team. Let's see here. Bouch. Where is he? Let's just do... Oh, nope. Didn't want that. Let's get him pulled up a better way. Here he is, Evan Bouchard. So last year he put up 40 points in 82 games played. Now you might be like, well, that's not crazy. Year before that, 43 in 22. I think last year was kind of a feeling out year for him and getting used to being that top offensive defenseman. And this is kind of the first full year that he is the man. Now, I think he'll have over 10 goals this year. I think he'll have over 50 points, and that'll take him, or 50 assists, so that would take him to 60-ish points. So again, the line is 60. Will he get over 60 or below 60? I think he'll be just a bit over that. I think their power play will still be historic. They won't be as good as they were last year, but they'll be at least top 8 in the NHL, and he'll be the top point man on the power play, leading that, feeding the puck to the guys such as McDavid, Hyman, Draisaitl, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, and again, all those guys, it's like, well, they can put the puck in the back of the net. Sneaky thing is, this guy has an absolute rocket of a shot, too. And if you listen to Spit and Chicklets, right, when he's like, oh, this guy's great, he's so good, he's the next up-and-coming offensive defenseman, and I can see it. They're watching his tape, watching his film, watching his games. He has that sneaky ability and that awesome shot at the point that if teams kind of start playing off him and give him that chance to shoot the puck, he's going to make them pay and put it in the back of the net. So I think over-under, definitely we can put that line at 60. He's going to hit the over on 60 points this year, whether it's 10 goals, 50 assists, 15 goals, 45 assists, whatever combination you want. I think he will be above 60 points. He is a watch list player for me this upcoming season on a very, very good, very top-heavy Edmonton Oilers hockey club. So look out for him. He's going to be a fun one. And I know this next player we talked about a little bit, about his goals and where we think he's going to finish, so we won't spend too much time on him, and that is Barbashev. This guy, I mean, again, we talked about him in the segment before this, but this guy is going to be off the charts good. He can throw the body around. He can go to the front of the net. He can go in the corners, get the puck out, win those battles. I'm sure he'd even be willing to drop the gloves. Dude can lay the lumber. He's a big lumbering guy. He's only 6 foot and barely 200 pounds. But dude, he plays bigger than that. It's kind of weird, but it's so much fun to watch. It was exciting to watch him in the playoffs last year. Can he bring that same intensity to the regular season is kind of what I'm thinking. Could be the only thing that would hold him back from that is if he's playing that style of game night in and night out, will that just wear him down and kind of take him out of it? Will he only play, let's say, 72 games because he's injured, because the bumps and bruises that he's taking from throwing his body around? Who knows? But this guy definitely has skill. He's got a shot. He goes to the dirty areas to get those juicy rebounds. He can move the puck. He's got vision. He's a very solid second line, border first line player. If injuries happen, he can definitely step in on that first line and be a huge help. I think for him, again, 60 points would be great. I think that is doable. I think it is going to happen, and look at the team he's playing with. Just absolutely stacked. Eichel, Stone, Carlson, Marchessault, Waugh, Stevenson, Howden, Carrier, Kolesar, and then it kind of drops off after that. But on the back end, Pietrangelo, Martinez, Theodore, McNabb, Whitecloud, Haig, Hutton, and Paschal. And then Hill, Thompson between the pipes. Dude's going to be playing top probably 25 minutes a night. What did he average last year? 17. What did he average in the playoffs? I'm intrigued. 15-33. I think we can see him anywhere from 15 to 18 minutes this upcoming regular season, 100%. Look out for this guy. He's going to be absolutely awesome, and that is another reason why I have him on my right-hand side here for watch list players for this upcoming season. We're still doing good on time. Erik Karlsson is the next one. Now, again, you might be like, well, he had a great year last year, and he was the number one defenseman in the league, and why would you even consider him to be a watch list player? Well, because he is a top player in the league, top defenseman in the league last year, won the Norris Trophy. Dude is absolutely insane. Now, my biggest watch list item and why I have him on that list, I suppose a few things. One, Penguins are my favorite team. Intriguing that they got a top defenseman in the league. So that's one reason. Two, that whole moving factor. Some players are able to make the move, new team, new area for not only his day-to-day that he's used to doing, but for his family. How does that mesh? How does that then affect him in his on-ice play? Because obviously we know what he did last year, and that was just utterly amazing. 101 points in 82 games played, 25 goals, 76 assists, led their team, led the league in defensive scoring. Dude was just absolutely great. After a bunch of seasons where he was riddled with injuries, never got anything above 50 points ever since going to the San Jose Sharks, except that last year. So coming over to a team that statistically is one of the oldest teams in the league. They are the oldest team in the league. I think their average age is the average age of their team is 33 or something like that. It's really old, but he's got that pep in his step again. He's playing on a better team. He's playing with Crosby, Malkin, Letang, Gensel, Raquel. He's playing with great players. And he definitely remembers the Pittsburgh Penguins and cutting his dreams short of going to the Stanley Cup Finals. Does he see a future with this team that, yep, they've got their window's 2 more years, and I've got a chance to win a cup? Is that the main reason he said yes and wanted to come to Pittsburgh? In the back of my mind, I think yes, that is the main reason he wanted to come to Pittsburgh, because he believes that not only he can be successful, but he has a chance at winning a Stanley Cup. So I'm interested to see what he can do this upcoming season. I don't think he's going to get 100 points. There's no way he gets 100 points. But I think realistically, 75 to 85, I think is a realistic number for him this upcoming season. I've got him on my watch list because I'm intrigued to see what he does on a new team with a chance and reinvigoration of, I got a chance at a Stanley Cup here. So should be fun to watch him. And then we've got one more player on the list, and that's a guy who, kind of we talked about it with Carlson, but he already went through it, is that move. How do you spell his name? H-U-B. Oh, put an I in there for some reason. We'll get the search. Jonathan Huberdeau. He had a poor year last year after coming out of Florida, absolutely killing it. The last 4 years with the Panthers, 92, 78, 61, 115 points. That's kind of insane. He's played 750 games. He's got 668 points. So he's close to almost, not necessarily close, but close to 100 a point per game. He's close to 500 assists. Last year, not very good. 55 points in 79 games played. He came from Florida to Calgary. Massive change in culture. Massive change in living situations. Came into a very bad situation where the team was kind of in a limbo year of Daryl Sutter's kind of going crazy. We're probably going to lose our GM. We've got expectations to make the playoffs, but it kind of rests on your shoulders. So good luck. We're also, we're going to play you in a position that you typically don't play. So good luck. That's just a recipe for a disaster to happen. And it did. 55 points in 79 games played. Not very good. I expect a full-blown bounce back for this guy. He is an elite player on a pretty good team, I would say. When we take a look at the Calgary Flames, let's pull them up here. They're pretty solid. Huberdeau, Kadri, Majapane, Backlund, new captain for the Calgary Flames. Coleman, Lindholm, Sharangovich, Dubé, and then kind of drops after there. Peltier, going to be interesting to watch him this year. Back end, Uyghur, Hanifin, Anderson, Tanev, Zadorov, and then it kind of drops off after that. Goaltending, Markstrom, Vladar. Pretty solid tandem, if Markstrom has a bounce back year as well. But with that team, you would expect Huberdeau to not only be able to create his own offense, but being able to kind of feed off of his teammates and getting assists. He's more of a playmaker anyways, as opposed to a goal-scoring machine. As you can see, 213 goals to 455 assists throughout his career. So I'd say more so playmaker than sniper. He can't put the puck where he wants. But I'm intrigued to see where he goes this year because I think the Calgary Flames will only go as far as Huberdeau can take them. If he has a solid year, look out for the Flames. If he has another year where it's like he's still trying to find himself up there, it could be a tough year for the Flames. I've got them potential playoff team, but again, I think it falls on his shoulders, and that's why I've got him as a watch list player of, man, if this guy's playing, throw on the game because it should be a good one. I expect a full-blown bounce-back year. I'm expecting, 85-plus points for Jonathan Huberdeau. That might be a hot take, but I think it's going to be a good one for him this year. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comments about all of these watch list players that are on the screen right above me. Let me know what you guys think. Is there anyone else we should add or consider to add for next week's edition of the watch list? Let me know what you guys think down below in the comments of this video, and we will definitely be sure to discuss and talk about that together. But we are now coming up on 45 minutes. We've been doing a very good job. Better time managing this time around with the live stream. I know last time I went a little long with it. But at this point, we've got kind of nothing really in the bag. But man, it's good. I'm so excited for the season. Like it feels like this summer's just kind of dragged on. I know free agency was kind of meh. It's kind of a dud spud. Nothing too crazy. Obviously, Carlson going to Pittsburgh was a huge deal. Probably the biggest move this offseason. It wasn't even free agency. It was a 3-team trade. So it's going to be intriguing to see what happens. Preseason roundup. Ottawa won the second Hockeyville. I know Toronto also played a Hockeyville. So looks like they were able to beat the Florida Panthers. Lundell scores twice for Florida. Batherson 4 points for Ottawa. So good for them in Nova Scotia. I know the Penguins will be playing, I believe, the Senators in Hockeyville, yes, tomorrow. So that'll be a fun one. It's on NHL Network if you guys want to check that out. Crosby plays an NHL game essentially in his hometown. So that will be really cool for him. We're getting to the tail end of Crosby's career, so he's definitely got a few things left in the tank. Looks like Sutter retires from the NHL after 13 seasons. He was signed to a PTO this year. I forget, I think it was with the Edmonton Oilers, so it looks like he didn't make the roster. He was cut, and he decides to retire after 13 seasons. So good for Brandon Sutter. Very solid career. Started with the Penguins, worked his way to Vancouver, and kind of fizzled out after that. But man, this season is going to be a fun one. There's a lot of big storylines, such as the repeatability of the Vegas Golden Knights. They've got a similar team. Can they put it together, win themselves their second ever Stanley Cup? What about the old guard Penguins, Capitals, Bruins? Are they going to be able to figure it out? Can the Bruins bounce back from that disappointing loss without Bergeron and without David Krejci this upcoming season? Again, you can go out west. Can McDavid and Draisaitl get over the hump finally and win a Stanley Cup? Can McDavid cement his legacy, or will it be another year of disappointment? Can Colorado and the Tampa Bay Lightning kind of get off the schneid of, yeah, they just won cups recently, but they're kind of not necessarily fizzling out, but they're kind of in that no man's land of they're going to make the playoffs, but we don't know if they're going to win the cup. I know Vasilevsky, the injury to him is going to play a big deal on maybe why Tampa Bay won't make it to the Cup final. But you can say the same thing about Colorado. They lost Francois. They don't have Landeskog essentially for the entire year, so they're going to have to ride on McKinnon. They're going to have to ride and die on Rantanen, Makar, Devon Taves. I mean, there's a lot of players on that team in the depth positions that are going to have to step up. So, again, the storylines, you could keep going. Connor Bedard, Adam Fantilli, Leo Carlson. Like, how are the rookies going to do this year? Go back to the East. Jack Hughes, is he going to have a big year? Will he put up 100-plus points? Can the Devils shock the world? Can Carolina finally get over the hump? Yes, they've had regular season success, but can they do it in the playoffs and at least make a Stanley Cup with the core that they have? Not necessarily win it, but at least make the Stanley Cup final. With Rob the Bot as their head coach, won a Stanley Cup with Carolina. Can the boys in red find a way to get it done? Who knows? Again, you could just keep rattling them off. You could say the same about the Dallas Stars. They are in a very similar situation like the Carolina Hurricanes. Obviously, they haven't won their division, but the Dallas Stars, like, man, they're so good during the regular season. They're so stacked. They've got Robinson, Pavelski, Rupe Hintz, Heiskanen, you've got Ottinger between the pipes. You got the old guard with Sagan, Jamie Benn, and they even brought in, drawing a blank on his name, Matt Duchene. Can the old guard mixed with the new figure it out? Win a Stanley Cup for Dallas. They haven't done it in so long. Like, again, sky's the limit on all of the things that can happen this upcoming season, and I'm just so excited to get it underway. Did I mention Connor Bedard? I think I might have. Connor Bedard, yeah, look out for that guy this upcoming season, because that will be an absolute treat. I'm so excited for opening night as well. Blackhawks versus Penguins, old versus new guard, Crosby versus Bedard, kind of almost like a passing of the torch. I know Crosby probably has a few years left in the tank, but man, it's going to be really cool this upcoming season. I cannot wait for it. Taking a look at the chat, but we're pretty much getting close to that time, guys, of ending this episode, and I want to thank all of you who are in here and who have watched. We're coming up on 50 minutes, so we can pretty much wrap it up here. Just thank you guys so much for the love and support you have been showing. It has been absolutely a treat to make these videos and preseason videos and prediction videos and getting back into it. I know last year I talked about this is going to be the channel. This is what we're going to be doing, live streaming 2-3 times a week. Kind of my goals were a little unrealistic, and if any of you guys were here during that time and you've stuck around and kept your faith in me and getting it figured out, I know there were a lot of things going on, and still are, but I think we've gotten into a place where I can do this a little bit more often than not. Was going through a job transition, got that all squared away, promotion, getting that all figured out and seeing how things went. to now where kind of in the swing of things, got a routine going, and I can add this, my hobby of covering hockey and talking hockey and having fun with it. I can really do that now on a more consistent basis, and it not necessarily affected me, but it made me feel that sense of disappointment because I was starting to build a community last year a little bit more with you guys who have stuck around, and I felt like I let you guys down. But getting back into it and seeing all the love and support and the comments and the likes and the views and you guys joining the community, we're already up to 600 plus subscribers. And before I started back up with these videos, we were kind of down around near like 500 something. And we kind of started back up in the playoffs last year, took a little bit of the summer off, and then got back into it. Really here, kind of fully committed, got the goals and everything written down for this upcoming season, what we want to try to do. And the biggest part of that and the driving factor was you guys. Wanting to get that out for you guys, wanting to give you some content, give you some fun. Again, I'll still need to get used to how things work and how I want to do it with these live streams and segments and what we should talk about and what you guys want to talk about and what videos to put out during the week, and live streams. We'll try to do live streams as well. Definitely want to do at least this show, the Puck Drop, at least every Sunday night around 7 o'clock. That, again, either you guys can join in live or check it out afterwards. We can talk about it then. But, man, it's something that I'm really excited about this upcoming season. I think sky's the limit. Again, yes, we could talk about numbers and, oh, he's on YouTube, he wants to just grow and get numbers and get money. And, yeah, that's all fun and great. But this is more so just to have fun. I love hockey, love the game, want to help grow the game. And if I can help you guys not only understand my point of view, and maybe you guys can share your point of view on your favorite teams or what happened or controversies or news and things that happen, and just have a fun, open community about it. That's what makes me want to do this and have fun. So yeah, getting in the numbers and that help driving and building that community is something that I want to do. And ultimate goal, yeah, we want to hit that 1,000 subscribers. I think next goal for us is 750, and then we'll worry about 1,000, and then so on and so forth. We'll keep growing as time goes on, but I want to keep that sense of community at heart. No matter how small or big that we get, it is about you guys and having fun with it, giving you the best content I possibly can create for you guys, so you're not just coming on something that's like, oh, this guy just threw something together and here we are. I want you guys to get some value out of it, and that's why I'm here. I want to have fun doing it, and we are close to an hour, 53 minutes according to this. That was a little bit of a rant, but kind of just telling you guys why I'm back, what we're going to be doing, and where we're going moving forward. So again, we'll have these live streams every Sunday night as the season goes along, and we'll talk about the previous week, upcoming week, and we'll break up segments and have fun doing that together, piecing it together as we go along. I know we're still pretty early in this journey of live streaming and kind of like a show podcast type thing, but we will get there together and have fun doing it. But that's going to be it for this one here today, guys. If you did enjoy it, be sure to drop a like on this video. Hit that subscribe button if you guys are new. We've got some promo codes down below in the description for you guys to check out. We've got GFUEL and SeatGeek. I know SeatGeek, it's off money off your first purchase. And with games and everything coming up, I want you guys to go ahead and enjoy those and get some money off. GFUEL for a supplement that if you guys want to check it out, be sure to do so. But again, that's it for this one. I hope you guys have a good one. And as always, stay dusty.